Have you ever come home from a trip and you are out of sorts and you feel a little let down and you wonder, what did I do with my time? How did I spend it? And you feel like maybe you didn't have the best trip possible. Or you've always attributed those feelings to the after trip letdown. And I'm actually here to tell you that you should not have that after trip letdown, that there's something that you can do that will keep you from having that feeling when you get home. And that is being really intentional about setting your goals for travel. Goal setting is often thought of when it comes to budgeting. Maybe I'm going to set a budget goal so I know how much I can spend while I'm on my travel, or it's completely not thought of about travel at all. Most of us think we're just going to get away from it all, or we want to see this one thing and we want to get there. And maybe those two are really good reasons for travel, but you have to pair your reasons for travel with your budget, with who you're traveling with why you're traveling, with where you're going. And thinking through those things is going to ensure that you have the best possible trip that you can. Let's dive in to some different areas that you can look at that will help you understand yourself better so that you can have the best trip possible. The first thing you want to do is really understand why you want to travel. What are your desires for traveling? I could talk to 10 clients, and every one of those clients may want to go to Paris. But every one of them may want to go to Paris for different reasons and to see different things and to experience a different feeling. Some may have this perfect vision in their head of sitting at a cafe, eating fresh baked croissants, having espresso, and enjoying a beautiful view of the city. While others want to get deep into the heart of the art scene, or others want to take a picture at each of the most popular places because they've seen it and love it and want to be a part of the energy that's there. If you tell me I want to go to Paris, but you only have that one piece and you haven't thought through why you want to go to Paris or why you want to do any travel, then your travel may fall flat. I tend to be a traveler that wants to do a lot of tours, find out about the history and the architecture. I want to explore off the beaten path so that I can eat in new restaurants and try things that I never would have tried before and connect with the local culture. Because that is who I am, if you don't tell me your desires, then that's going to be the kind of trip that I plan for you. And if you're planning for other people or you're planning for yourself, if you don't think through your desires, that might be the kind of trip that you end up on. Or you might think, well, I'm just tired and I don't feel like planning, so I'm just going to plan an all inclusive. But really, you don't want an all inclusive. You will get bored sitting by the pool all day. I had friends recently who were talking about taking a trip to Switzerland and taking all of the trains. One of those friends I know is super high powered, wants to go all the time, very busy, does everything himself. And I knew that sitting on a train for 8 hours one day and 6 hours another day and 10 hours another day was not going to be the most fabulous trip for him. So we talked about how we can break those up and get the pieces of Switzerland that are gorgeous and that everyone wants to see on a train, but also get some activities in there to break up those rides so that the trip is not just sitting on a train and looking at scenery. Knowing your desires is going to make it really important before you even do anything else. Next, you really want to think about your destination. You need to have your desires down first before you think about your destinations, even though no matter what your desire is, you can probably find some of that in your destination. But if you are looking for Roman architecture and you think, okay, but I don't have the budget for that, or I don't have the time for that, there are things that you can do to make sure that that happens, but you want to make sure that your destinations match all of those things. It's almost like you can't do all of this one at a time. You have to think about it all together, but destinations will definitely drive forward your budget, or your budget might drive forward your destinations. Thinking through what your desires are, what kind of travel you want, and then going into your destinations. If you are someone who really enjoys luxury travel, you want to have a concierge, you want everything taken care of, then you probably don't want to go to a very remote island where they don't have those things, because you'll be completely out of sorts when you come back. Yes, the scenery may be beautiful and the water is gorgeous and maybe the food is great, but if you're used to a level of pampering that that does not have, then your vacation will not meet your needs and you will come home broke and sad because you didn't meet those things that you really wanted. And the same is true the other way. If you're someone who really loves to be out in nature and to get into the dirt and the grass and the native culture, then I would not suggest booking luxury hotels in big cities, because you're not going to get that. You may find that you have a little bit of everything in you, but each trip is going to be different. So you might have certain desires for one location that you don't have for another. And those desires will help you with, when do I want to take that trip? Maybe you're completely burned out right now and you want total relaxation. So that all inclusive where somebody's pampering you sounds really, really great. But later on, when you have more energy, or maybe you have a group going with you that you weren't going to have before, you might want to take that adventure vacation. It really is important to think about your destinations, not just as checking them off. I went to this one, I went to this one, I went to this one, but matching them to your desires and where you are in life with budget and time and all of the other things. You might not want to go backpacking in the Andes with a toddler, but you might. And if you do, great. If you don't, maybe you want to look at some place that caters to toddlers, or some place that has childcare available so that you can go do some of those things, but still be close enough that you feel connected and have time with your children also. Thinking about all of those things when it comes to destinations, I'd say always have a few in your back pocket. So when you get ready to start planning, you can talk to your advisor about that. When clients call me and they say, I don't know, we just want to go in June, but we don't have any place at all. Well, y'all, the world is a really big place. I need to know more. And so I'll start digging. And that's where understanding desires or budget come in. Sometimes you don't really know where you want to go, or you have too many jumbled, mixed up ideas that you have too many to even consider. So talking through that with somebody who can help you make those right choices is a really great idea. You'll really also want to check your budget. What is feasible for you now? What is feasible for you later? Do you just ache to travel and need to take a short trip that won't cost as much so that you can save money for the next trip? Or can you work with a short-term loan, something like Uplift, where you can make payments over time, but the percentage of interest is not as staggering as it sometimes can be with credit cards? Or maybe you know that you're budgeting with a group of people. So if you are traveling with a group, then maybe looking at a house that you can rent and sharing the cost of food or excursions could really be helpful in that. Also, thinking about your budget, you really want to think about the time of year that you're going. So time is another huge factor that you can't skip over, because different times of year you're going to have different costs associated with it. My daughter is graduating from high school and wanted to go to Thailand. We wanted to go over the summer. It makes sense. We'll have a break. It'll be right after her graduation. But the first advisor that I talked to told me, oh no, you can't go during the summer because it's monsoon season. You really need to go in the winter. December is the best time to go. Well, it might be the best time weather-wise, but it costs 3 or 4 times more to go to Thailand in December because of that reason. When I talked to another advisor, he said, yes, it's monsoon season, but you might have an afternoon shower here or there. We can make sure that you are doing a tour that's inside in that during that time period, or that's the time where you go take your siesta or have a happy hour, and then you can go do what you're going to do. And also, we're not going to put you at Phuket, we're going to put you at Koh Samui, because being on the inside in the bay is less of a weather problem than being on the outside. Those are the kinds of things that you really need to think about. It's not just about budget. If you have an unlimited budget, then for sure, go wherever you want to go, whenever you want to go, and don't think about that. But otherwise, think about, okay, what else is going on? Something else that could be really important that you might want to think about for two reasons. One is budget and prices going up. And the other is the fact that you might want to go to that are festivals and carnivals and events that happen seasonally. If you are going to carnival, then it's going to be a lot pricier to go then, and you're going to want to book it way further in advance than if you were just going to go when there's not something big going on. Think about those things as you start mapping it out. Those are all pieces of this puzzle that have to come together. Another piece that's really important is, who are you traveling with? If it is solo travel, are you going to be meeting friends later? Are you going to solo travel and then meet someone that you know that lives in a certain place and spend some time with them? Are you solo traveling the whole time? Are you interested in joining some groups or even going on a group trip, which you're still solo, but you have some people there who are also going to be looking at the same things that you're looking at, and you can create that bond? Or you may just want to be solo, and that goes back to your desire. What are you looking for? Or you're going as a couple, or you're going with friends. If you're taking your children, then that's going to totally change the dynamic that you have completely, because you know that the kids are not always going to want to do the exact same things that you're going to want to do, and there's going to have to be some give and take. So thinking through all of those pieces, and once you have those all mapped out, you start to almost put it together as an equation. I have this desire, I want to go to this destination, I have this budget, I've got these time constraints, I'm going with these people, and the weather's going to be this, and I really wanted to see this thing. Making sure that you're crystal clear on all of those things will ensure that you're creating an itinerary that is really going to resonate. So you don't have those feelings of malaise and disappointment that you might have if you didn't think through it, if you just went just to go. And I'm not saying that just going someplace on a whim is not going to give you a fantastic result. Sometimes that is what you desire, is just getting out and going and exploring and having fun and seeing what's going to happen. If that's true, make sure that the people who are going with you are on board with that, because I can attest that sometimes the random road trips, which I love, does not resonate with everybody in my family. And even though that would have been a great trip for me, their feelings are going to cloud my time there as well. There are so many pieces to think about, and it's really important that you're not doing this on your own. I'm not just saying this because I'm a travel advisor, but because when I plan with friends and I think through these things, then I know that I am being truly intentional and having the best time that I possibly can. And of course, I would love to help you plan. I also have created a journal for you to jot down some of these ideas that has each of these pieces with some questions to guide you, so that you can think through this before you get started or before you reach out to me. And I love talking to folks and asking them these questions. This is kind of what a discovery call with me is like, is what are your dreams? Why do you have those dreams? And how can we make them a reality, knowing that you have this budget or this time constraint? Are these people going with you? Can you really climb to the top of the Eiffel Tower with a newborn? Maybe. And maybe that's something that we need to think about for later in life. And what could we do now that would be more appropriate for traveling when you can't really take care of just yourself, but somebody else also? There are so many things to think about, and it's so nice to have a partner. The link to the journal is below. The link to book a discovery call with me is below. And I would love to chat with you either way, if you've done the journal or not. No matter what, I'd love to partner with you, creating a really intentional travel plan for you that you can meet and will come home feeling refreshed, energized, excited, connected, and joyful.